Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blind Squirrel Talk, famous in a small town. I'm Lulu.
I'm Kim, and today we have Perrin Chunta. Did I just say that right?
Yes.
Okay. We're so happy to finally get to meet her, but we were referred to you by Renee, who's a wonderful lady that, she tries to connect us with folks around town that are doing good deeds, and she had nothing but great things to say about
Wonderful.
you.
I appreciate that.
Well, tell us a little bit about what you do.
I run a small 501c3 nonprofit dog rescue. I got my license in September of 22. But prior to that, I was working with other organizations in the metro Atlanta area, whether it was fostering or volunteering or transporting. So I thought, well, why don't I just start doing, what I can myself?
Yeah.
So my husband and I, we actually have a dog boarding business. So we have a facility that can help house these, I do dogs, but dogs that are looking for their forever homes.
Aww.
So I got my license in September of 22. And I pull primarily from urgent lists in surrounding counties. I try to focus my efforts on my county, which is Hall County. Although I've pulled from Clayton, I've pulled from Bartow, I've pulled from several others in the area. But mainly, I either do rescue only, which means a licensed rescue has to pull. So a license meaning through the Georgia Department of Agriculture, or on an urgent list. So if a dog is on a euthanasia list and
So you scan these lists?
Yeah, so I've had to silence a few just because there's just too many in need.
Yeah.
But I follow.
Because that can break your heart. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
It is quite overwhelming at times, and it seems like the past 5 years have been even exponentially worse than it was prior to that. Obviously, there's a lot of COVID boomerangs. Unfortunately, there's just not enough spay and neuter laws around that are right. And, there's no enforcement if there are any laws that are in place. So I just I peruse Facebook. I have a lot of contacts at various shelters throughout the area. I have, if I see a dog that would fit at my home. So I'm obviously looking for a dog that's pretty well socialized with other dogs, because we encourage group play while they're there, and obviously good with kids. Sort of not a bomb-proof dog, because we don't have cats, so we don't cat test the dogs. But usually I look for something that's dog friendly and then child friendly.
Right.
How long ago did you start doing this?
So I've been rescuing or volunteering so I'm 37. I've been doing it since I was probably 24.
Gosh.
Yeah.
You don't look anywhere near
started to say, wow. Wow.
So I started in my 20s. My mom is a big animal lover, and that's sort of where I started from. When I was a kid, we would be driving and we'd see something on the side of the road and pick it up. And I mean, anything from raccoons to kittens to puppies, adult dogs.
So is that how you got involved with the boarding of the dogs?
So funny story. So I have a 4-year degree, international business degree from Kennesaw State University. And after I graduated, I got a job in sales and sort of just worked my way up the corporate ladder. And it just wasn't really what I wanted to do long term. And so I had always wanted to do a doggy daycare. So in 2020, December of 2020, I had to go in for, I know, right? Of all times. Yeah. I had to go in front of the commissioners in order to get approval to do it on our property. So I was unanimously approved to do that, because we had the correct zoning and we had the space. So I just had to have what was called a conditional use permit. So after I got the approval for that, it sort of started the ball rolling on. I quit my what I call big girl job, and the 401k, PTO, and so I started bartending, serving at restaurants. My husband was working full time at the time, so it obviously supplemented my income.
Right.
And then we started building, and from start to finish, it was about 2.5 years. So I got my license for the dog boarding in July of 22, and then my rescue license in September of 22.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
So that's sort of how it started. But I do, I love what I do. The only drawback is you don't ever get a day off, really. But yeah, we work with dogs. We do boarding for families when they go on vacation. We do
Oh,
daycare
that's very helpful.
Monday through Friday. And then my rescue efforts, I have a couple of dedicated fosters that I've worked with, and they're really instrumental in helping me with moms with nursing litters, special needs, dogs that have heartworms, any type of medical cases, so that those are really better suited in a private home versus a kennel, like myself, like a kennel area.
Right.
So
I can only imagine what the vet bill would be.
yeah, so it's tough. I mean, when I first started, if you're not, so I'm a registered nonprofit, so all of the donations that I receive are tax deductible, but if I don't receive enough donations for, let's say, heartworm treatment, then yes, I would have to come out of pocket myself to cover that. Yeah. So we're small. I call us, we're small but mighty. The rescue's called Pine Forest Pet Care. And it's really, like I said, we primarily work in, the counties that, are around here. I know Banks County doesn't have an animal control facility.
I know.
And is this Jackson?
We're
You're halfway.
Yeah,
If you go right there, you're in Banks. This is Jackson.
Okay, yeah, and then Jackson obviously has a very small shelter too. Well, so they.
Were you by chance part of the? I had a little dog rescue thing.
They were free rabies shots.
You weren't part of that.
No, I wasn't.
Do you partner with anyone like that?
So I've worked. I did something a couple of years ago. I was privy to a donation of heartworm meds, heartworm, flea, tick, heartworm prevention. And so I worked with a girl that kind of goes all over the state. She used to be affiliated with the Humane Society of Northeast Georgia, but she works for a different organization now. And so I partnered with her and was able to basically disperse these heartworm and flea and tick prevention. And I've also, when we first started the rescue, I was doing like a community hard goods and food. So I still do that to some extent. It depends on what the donations are. So like obviously times are tough. The donations are lower. So that's why I've really more so started focusing on actual pulling from shelters, with what I think I have the space to do. But I try to do, it's multifaceted.
So it's got to be hard because you see all these animals that are in need, and you have to be realistic about it, and you're like, okay, which one am I going to choose?
Yeah,
That's going to be
tough.
hard.
It's tough.
How many can you keep at a time?
So my license is for up to 20.
Okay.
The Department of Agriculture has different levels. So usually it starts from 0 to 20 and then 20 to 40. Most like an animal control facility usually has a license for 80 or more. A lot of counties have, they could have anywhere from 500 to 600 dogs. And that's just dogs in their care. And it's just crazy. So a lot of counties like Fulton and DeKalb, they're what they consider an open intake shelter, so they can't turn anyone away. So someone can show up with an animal, whether it's a cat or a dog, and they can't turn them away. So they're either confined to a crate, or that's usually what happens.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, and they're sometimes they'll have multiple animals in a single run, which is not ideal either, because if they're not spayed or neutered, or if they have any type of food reactivity or aggression, it's I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but it's tough. It really is.
People need to realize spay and neuter your pets.
Yeah. It's tough. So, but I try to just, a lot of times, people will get involved in rescue and they might have, their heart is in the right place, but they get to a point where they just can't say no. And then it becomes overwhelming. And then that's when you hear those stories about, a hoarding case that was busted, or, I think initially I think they probably had good intentions, but unfortunately it just gets to a point where it's just exponential and it's just hard to turn back.
Right.
So you have to know your limits. Anything that I bring into my program, I want to make sure I can rehabilitate it to the best of my ability, whether that's providing training, obviously all the vetting care that it needs. I do have a dog in foster care right now who underwent heartworm treatment. She's on like the tail end of the treatment. And she also had to have a leg amputated.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so I know, bless her heart. So she came from a rescue-only facility out in Bartow County, and what that means is the only way that you can pull from the shelter is if you have a rescue license through the Department of Agriculture. So there's no public adoptions, which lessens these animals' chances of getting out, right?
How do you vet people out that want to adopt?
So we have an application process. So I'll post most of our adoptable animals on a website called Pet Finder, where you have to go through a vetting process. You have to have a vet reference. Those are specifically for animal control facilities and rescues. Obviously, I'll Facebook creep to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But, but usually we'll do a
Stalker.
Yeah. Well, and then, you have folks that'll show an interest in an animal or a dog in my case, and it doesn't go anywhere, right? So you'll say, oh, I'm interested in such and such dog. Okay, great. Well, in order to start the process, I need you to fill this application out. If they ghost me on that portion, I know that they're obviously weren't a good fit for right. So that's the good thing, I guess. Well, ideally, that's really the better aspect of rescues, is because we do a little bit more due diligence when it comes to these animals in our care. We try to do the best we can as far as like doing vet references, personal references if needed. But I think there's a happy medium, because I think some rescues ask too much, right? I think that there are some places that say there's hindrances to adoption, but I also think there needs to be a happy medium when it comes to vetting applicants. A lot of rescues require like 7-page documents for applications.
Oh, goodness.
It's crazy. It's very, very intrusive. And then, there's some places that do same-day adoptions, which personally I don't agree with. So there has to be a happy medium on the boundaries of adoption, right? So you don't want to give it to this first person, or you have someone that inquires. Again, it's animal control facilities, or they have so many that are coming in that they are there's always going to be dogs or cats that are coming in, so they have to do what they can with their resources. So usually adopting from a rescue, there's a little bit more of a regimented background check, so to speak. And again, you do the best that you can with the information that you're given. At the end of the day, the animals aren't picking the homes themselves, so you really have to be an advocate for them.
Right. Are you happy or are you sad when an animal leaves that you find a home for?
I will say that there have been some that are harder to let go than others.
Okay.
Obviously, if there is an animal that's in my care for months and months and months, obviously I have more of a bond with them. But there are some that I would love to keep, but I know that they're adoptable, and that there's I just recently had one that I considered her bomb proof. She was kid friendly, cat friendly, dog friendly, like just so even keeled. She participated in group play with the doggy daycare dogs, and kennel trained, crate trained, house trained. And she just recently got adopted by a local business owner in downtown Gainesville. So she's like the ambassador dog for downtown Gainesville.
Nice.
So it's funny because everyone's like, where's Bonnie? Where's Bonnie? She'll come into it's a draft place. They have beers and wine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So she's like the mascot, so to speak. So I still get to see her, and most of my adopters I still keep in contact with. They'll either follow me on Facebook, or we'll chat and text back and forth. They'll send me updated photos. Hey, it's so-and-so's second birthday. With they had a birthday party for them, or I know. Yeah. So yes, there are some, but at the end of the day, I'm a stepping stone for them, for their final.
And thank goodness for you, though, because a lot of those animals, especially if they're in kill shelters, they just have to euthanize them.
Yes, there are. I will say, at least the county that I'm from, they do everything in their power not to euthanize. Generally it's only if it's a behavioral or medical instance, and even in that case, they will reach out to rescues. But the problem is that there's really good, highly adoptable animals that are in these shelters that, rescues are using their resources on. Let's say a dog that was hit by a car and needs a $5,000 surgery, right? So then they dump, which I'm not saying that they're not worth that, but then you have maybe a litter of puppies, or maybe, they just don't have the space for these 10 dogs, right? And they're all great dogs. But if they don't have the space and more are coming in, and a rescue just pulled a dog that's going to cost them $10,000 in vet bills, then that's a problem. Right. Because there's highly adoptable dogs that are being, like you said, euthanized. And again, it doesn't happen too often in the county that I'm from, but yeah, it happens. It happens everywhere. I mean, the North has problems, the South has problems. We've
all got problems.
Yeah, it's just really, if you've ever heard the term compassion fatigue. So basically, you're just so like fizzled out from trying to help. You get calls for, we're moving, we can't take the dog with us, or my new landlord won't allow our pets, or we can't afford them, or we can't afford to feed them, or we can't take them to the vet. It's just one after the other. And if you tell one person yes, then the next person, there's only so much you can do. And so it gets to a point where you're just almost burned out, because it's never ending.
Right.
So
you haven't been on vacation in 10 years?
Well, actually, our last vacation was 2 years ago in July.
Good.
Yeah, but other than that, if we want to do anything, I've got to do something, and then my husband is at home, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you do what you do.
Yeah, it's, we all, in rescue work, we do what we can. And I think if you're going about it the right way, or I guess that's kind of a blanket term. Who's to say what I think is the right way versus somebody else thinks is the right way? But if you're doing the best that you can with the resources that you have for these animals, I think that's all you can do,
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate what you do. I mean,
Thank you.
And before today, I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah. I think a lot of folks are not really aware of like the crisis essentially that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
I see posts every day that for people who are needing to rehome their animals for one reason or another, and unfortunately, at the end of the day, there's just not enough good homes out there for these animals.
Yeah.
Like my husband and I, we have 7 personal dogs. I have 4 pigs. 3 goats.
Oh my God.
2 cats that all of a sudden became 4 cats last week because 2 strays showed up. So I was able to catch them, take them in to be neutered, and then release them. And then they do the ear tip. Those are just things but those are rescues that I've sort of accumulated over the years. So all my livestock are pets. People, like the pigs, for example, people got them as like a house pet.
Oh gosh.
And they don't realize that if you feed it, it's going to grow. So they think it's going to stay small, but really the only reason they stay small is if you don't feed them.
Yeah.
So we have mini pigs, which technically anything under 300 pounds is considered a mini pig.
Oh, okay.
So that's, so that's 1,200 pounds of pig outside.
And you have them named?
I do have them named. It's
do they come to you? They run to you? Or?
So I have had 2 of them since they were very, very young. The 2 others I intercepted. One of them was from a charter school in Atlanta that they, how like elementary schools will have like class gerbils. Okay, well this school had like an agricultural sector, and this pig was part of it was like a class pig, and they thought, okay, well let's every other weekend, let's have one of the children take it home. And anyway,
how'd that work? Not so
300 pounds.
Well, at the time, he was still probably about 35 pounds.
Still.
But they realized it at the time and thought, okay, this is not what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So I intercepted him. His name's Oliver. And then I've got Ruby, Maxine, and then Queenie was the last one that I took in.
Wow.
Yeah. So...
You have got to have a hefty bill for feeding these guys.
Yeah. So they eat, grain or an all stock, and then the goats are primarily like orchard grass.
I hear they love kudzu.
Yeah, well, so if mine have gotten out and they eat pretty much everything I don't want them to eat. So, but yes, some people, there are companies that have that rent them out.
My daughter
in Atlanta.
did that.
Yeah.
And they work good.
Yeah.
They do really well.
Yeah.
Bring them out for a week, section them off.
Yeah.
Everything's gone.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, and again, it's just my husband and I, so we're sort of kind of tapped out with what we can do right now without more fosters, a larger facility.
So can someone reach out to you if they wanted to foster? And
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure you put them through the vetting process.
I do,
as well.
yes, I do. And so with us being licensed to the Georgia Department of Agriculture, there's paperwork that needs to be filled out. I have to do a home visit just to make sure that the dog is...
It's like adopting a baby.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we again, and that's why I wanted to say, as far as like rescues, having a happy medium, as far as adopting. But yes, I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, the liability would be on me as the rescue owner if something were to happen in a foster home.
Right.
But and there again lies an issue too. I think a lot of times people like myself see these posts on Facebook about this dog needs to leave by 4 p.m. today, and someone will say, oh, I'll foster, right? I'll foster. I don't want it to die. So they offer to foster, and it's so critical for these animals that are coming from, animal control facilities that they have decompression time. Because these animals have lived in a cage for 23 hours a day. So unfortunately, you have these people who, again, have good intentions, but then let's just say an animal comes to their house and then maybe it goes to the bathroom in the floor. So 24 hours later, sorry, it's got to go. Yeah.
Wow.
And so then I'm scrambling to find
Right.
an alternate, because if it doesn't work out in the foster home, then it comes to my place.
Right.
I have 3 fosters that have worked with me from, years ago to, maybe 6 months ago, that are really, really committed. I mean, they open their homes, they work through, any type of like crate training. I've had some that have, had to replace drywall because of some of the animals. So they're, they're
So
really,
they are committed.
they're very committed. Yeah. So yeah, it's in, people say that, fostering is free, and I don't really like using that term because it really isn't. It can be mentally draining. It's very emotionally rewarding, but I also think it can be emotionally taxing as well. Yeah. So, but we provide everything, all of the food, any type of crates or supplies, obviously any type of vetting that needs done, we cover that as well. So
It's amazing. How wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah,
And you're an angel.
Yes, you are.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
Yes, you are.
I always I really, this just is my calling. My husband and I don't have children. Our animals are our children, and it's just been my calling, as cheesy as that sounds.
No, I can tell. I see the passion.
Yeah, so it's definitely that, and that's the thing, is like my boarding business. I'm very passionate about what I do. So, like, for example, if we're busy, well, we've gotten a lot busier than in the past, but like, for example, if I have someone who's wanting to book for a very busy week, and they'll say, hey, well, what if I just bring their crate? And I say, well, no, because, well, number one, I have a license number that I have to say below, but also the more animals, the more stressful the environment is. I'm not interested in making more money over a holiday week, and it's going to be more stress on their pet.
Right.
And if I don't have a proper area to contain them. So
You're going to need therapy for the people you have to turn down. Don't you?
I know, y'all. I've gotten better, but I used to have a problem with telling people no. So this 2026 Perrin protecting her peace Chunta.
Very good.
Yeah. So
Very good. I want to hear more in the future. You'll have to come back, bring us some pictures of your adoptables.
Or bring us a dog.
yes, absolutely. I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to.
We could do like a feature. Okay,
Yeah.
Here's the pet of the month.
Yes, send us. Yes,
Would you like to?
Yeah, I'd love to. That would be great.
neat. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess just follow you on Facebook, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You heard it right here. If you're looking for the perfect pet, don't go to the box stores. You need to adopt. Okay, we'll start doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
Okay, great. That sounds
wonderful.
great.
Yeah.
I'm so happy Renee mentioned you and said
Yeah,
we
this
needed
is
to hook up.
wonderful.
Yeah, I love it. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
And I appreciate all that you do.
Thank you.
Yes,
what a-
that's definitely behind the scenes, no rewards job. But
Yeah, what you really have to love what you do in order to do, because like I said, it can be mentally and emotionally and physically draining, but it's very rewarding at the same time. So
and financially training too.
yeah,
Let's not forget
that's true. That is true. Yeah,
So if you want to donate, she's a 501c3. It's tax deductible.
it is.
Perfect,
Everything's tax
perfect.
deductible.
Yeah.
And you know what? You should set up a booth at our 60th annual Autumn Leaf Festival
Yes.
this year.
That's right. Yes,
and
yes, I plan to do that.
Perhaps get some donations or set up
Right.
some adoptions.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do that.
Good.
It's fun. We have about 10,000 people come through that
Really?
weekend.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's bigger than you think.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'd love to do it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Wow. All right. Well,
You heard it here.
You did. You heard it here first. So we appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of Flying Squirrel Talk, Famous in a Small Town. I'm Lulu.
I'm Kim.
And
And I'm Perrin.
we'll see you next time. Bye,
Bye.
y'all.